let's get to Deshaun Watson in Houston. He clearly wants out. And the Texans are what? Like their plan is to dig in and eventually he'll return David Culley's call, or eventually they'll get him in a room and they'll take their shot there and then figure out what the next step is. Hopefully they don't need a next step because Watson will say, I love this guy and I don't care about however I felt about management or, Jack Easterby, whose Catskills routine made it on Twitter and YouTube quite a bit over the last week.
Saw that.
So, is that their plan? Is that their plan for Deshaun Watson right now?
They are trying very hard to get Deshaun back, to bring him back, to reel him back in, just trying to get him to talk. It hasn't happened yet, but they are trying. David Culley is trying. I know that. The real problem here, Rich, is that David Culley did nothing to Deshaun Watson. Nick Caserio also did nothing to Deshaun Watson. The way Nick Caserio was hired is a problem, but he didn't do anything wrong. And I don't get the sense Deshaun Watson has any animosity at all to Nick Caserio. So everything they are trying to do in a weird way doesn't matter because they didn't do anything to him. So it's not like they need to apologize or something like that because they did nothing wrong. It's about the owner and management. And how do you fix that? I mean, and I don't get the sense Deshaun is changing either. He's still extremely upset. I don't know how it ends. I just don't see any end in sight.
Well, I mean, the end is for the Houston Texans. Is they either, there's three options. They hope the first one is that Watson talks to Culley and says, boy, I love this guy. I believe in him. I'm going to buy what he's selling, and it doesn't matter anything else that's unchanged that caused me to demand the trade. That's the best case scenario. And the other two scenarios are that they force him to hold out, take his money. Or three, they trade him. That's it. Or they force him to hold out and then don't take his money, sort of what Jerry did to Zeke. And then pay him and then give him what he wants. The problem is what he wants is something, I guess, would be the sale of the team. To me, it's just, it makes no sense when you saw what they were able to acquire, what the Lions were able to acquire. And I understand that was financial because of the size of the contract they took on. Mm-hmm. But that could be an apple to apple, basically saying, hey, the Lions technically did get 2 firsts for a 3-year-old quarterback. Deshaun Watson, they could get the Jets' entire draft first round haul for the next 3 years and maybe demand Darnold on top of it and get a kid who's 23 with 2 years contractual control. I mean, after a while, the writing is on the wall, and a better future, than making your superstar beloved athlete hold out on you. Yeah. That there's got to be a better option, right? That's to me, and that to me seems inevitable. I don't know. You tell me.
You did a great job of explaining why this is an impossible situation. You really did, because someone involved has a major problem with every scenario. You just there's not one where it's like, okay, fine, this actually makes sense for both sides. In all those scenarios, someone has a huge, huge problem and wants to do everything to stop it from happening. And so, as far as the trade haul, I mean, it's going to be as big as we've ever seen. And I honestly don't know, the Jets could do it if he would want to go there.
Right.
I'm not sure who else. I mean, the Dolphins could, and that would probably make some sense, but then they have Tua issues if they even would do it, which I don't know that they would. But there's not a lot of teams that can just do it because, a first rounder this year, a first rounder next year, okay, a first rounder the year after, but that's so far into the future. We don't know anything about that. So is it all right, 2 full draft boards for 2 years? Is it 2 first rounders and many, many really good young cheap players? It's hard for me to count that high as far as a possible trade, especially when I know that Nick Caserio doesn't want to do it. It's impossible.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.